I really came on here to talk to the people that are unafraid and also the people that are afraid to continue on their journey. And this could be a journey towards anything. This could be a journey towards you starting a business, being yourself. This could also be a journey towards you being more disciplined and committing to yourself, doing what you always said you do. We all have these moments where we go through life and we forget what we said that we would do. And I'm not talking about the mundane tasks that we commit to when it comes to people in our everyday lives. I'm referring to the tasks that we say that we do when it comes to our hobbies, our talents, and just taking better care of ourselves. This really needs to be addressed because we go through life thinking that if we don't complete something, that it's okay and we can just brush it under the rug. But that's not true. In fact, you are programming yourself to basically say that it's okay. It's okay for me to not show up for myself. It's okay for me to not fall back on my word and not do the things that I know that are genuinely going to fill my cup up and make me happy. It could be the smallest thing. It could be the most upsetting thing to someone else, thinking about how you do this thing every day. It could be you working out. It could be the way that you just look yourself in the mirror every day with confidence, knowing that you are beautiful. These are everyday rituals that you commit to, that we commit to on our journeys that allow us to keep going and to keep flourishing. And in order to build a relationship with yourself, you must know your do's and your don'ts. We all have these do's and these don'ts for the people that we associate with on our daily lives. And heck, some of us may not have the do's and the don'ts associated with other people in our lives. And so that's why we, in the past, have allowed people to mistreat us. And really, they weren't mistreating us. They were really following the guidelines for the way that we treated ourselves in relationships, in business partnerships. And so this is why it's important for you to set the tone for the way that you treat yourself. We get in these relationships and we say, I want this, or I want that, or I want you to treat me this way. I don't want you to do this and that. And really, you don't have to even speak or verbally say anything in regards to the way that you want to be treated if you naturally carry yourself as if you are someone that is valuable. And when I say valuable, I don't mean carrying yourself as someone that's meant to be bought, sold, or told who you are. You're not meant to tell people how much you cost or how to come or any of that, because you're not a piece of object on a market. You are truly unexplainable. And so when you step into a room, or even when you wake up, you have to know your worth. You have to know that, hey, if not today, then when? You have to ask yourself, if not today, then when? If I'm not showing up for myself today, why do I expect other people to show up for me? If I don't have the confidence to continue and to keep going, despite how other people feel about my business, how other people feel about me, then how am I going to continue? How am I going to keep going? How am I going to even survive? If you think about it, the people that lack confidence and lack self-reassurance, how do they make money? How do they continue when people tell them no? How are they going to continue when they constantly are telling themselves no, constantly beating themselves up for life not being perfect for them, or their perfect plan not panning out the way they had expected it to? Confidence is not about being boastful. It's not about being someone that's very prideful and not willing to accept your reality of where you are. Confidence is about continuing to push through obstacles despite how the physical reality may be appearing for you in the present moment. You're going to have people that are going to doubt you. Heck, you may even doubt yourself. But if you continue to doubt yourself, how do you think other people are going to feel about you? How do you think other people are going to treat you? When you walk into situations that are not set to push you forward and elevate you, do you stay in those situations? Or do you think that, hey, this is not something that is going to be ongoing for me? And I know for sure that this situation is not going to last long. And so I am making plans to exit the situation. I am making plans to put myself in different places and different spaces that are going to elevate me, that are going to offer me better benefits, that are going to not take away from the gift and the beauty that I add to this environment and to this situation, but are going to add to it. You have to remain independent. And something about confidence has a level of independence. It's the independence that comes with just being confident in itself. I don't even know if that made sense, but being confident is knowing that you can carry your own weight, even if someone else is not cheering you on or telling you that you're beautiful or telling you that you are all these things that are considered worthy of having and just even being alive. Independence gives you so much leverage. And this is not leverage over other people. This is leverage over yourself. Because sometimes we can be our own worst enemies. But I feel like this is a skill that you work towards. You know how when you put in an application and they ask you, what are your skills? What do you bring to this situation? Or what would you bring to this organization? And so you have these skills, these sets of skills that you broadcast and that you communicate. And it's up to them to say if the skills are worth it or not. And so when you are working with yourself, this is something that you look at. This is something that fuels you. And you can call it ego, but all of us have a level of narcissism or narcissistic traits that exist within us. And believe it or not, that comes from your skills. That comes from your level of confidence. That comes from your ability to say, hey, my skill set is my independence, my ability to accomplish a task, even if someone is telling me to do it or not. This is something that I would have already been doing. This is something that I would have already been incorporating in my life. So when you're attracting opportunities, when you're attracting these new partnerships, friendships, whatever, they are going to see you as being someone that already has things figured out. And you're going to have some people that walk away from that because they feel intimidated by that, but it's not your fault. And you don't want anyone in your circle, in your corner, that isn't willing to continue with you based on their own insecurities. Like, I don't want to be around her because she's going to highlight my insecurities. You don't want people like that around you. You don't want people like that to taint or poison your own sense of self. And you don't want yourself to be that person to someone else. And like recently, I just been thinking about how like these relationships that we have with other people, they have nothing to do with the other person. They have everything to do with your relationship that you have with yourself. And so if you see someone not appearing or, showing up as their best self, think about a time when you weren't showing up as your best self. Think about a time when you weren't elevating. What were you doing? What were you thinking? Where was your confidence level? And how do you think people felt about you? How do you feel about you? Were you in a good place? Probably not. You probably didn't feel good about yourself. You probably weren't in a good place. You probably weren't committing to yourself, weren't doing what you wanted to do. You were doing what everybody else wanted you to do. And so you felt bitter. And so when you get to the place where you're happy, you're motivated, you're doing what you want to do, first and foremost, prioritizing your needs, other people feel amazing about you. Even if they express it or not, they feel amazing about you because you feel amazing about who you are and who you are becoming and who you actually are striving to improve, where you are striving to improve. And so, yeah, make sure you are maintaining a level of confidence, independence, and make sure you're showing up for yourself and always reassuring yourself before you are wanting anyone else to reassure you about where you are, how you're doing. And do it for yourself.